What up, what up? It's H-O-G, back with another topic, back with another video. So the title of this video is going to be, are men the prize in a relationship? So admin notes, thanks again to all the subscribers that have subscribed to my channel. I endeavor to keep pushing the videos out, to give you leverage, to better selves. So let's get into it. So are men the prize in a relationship? So this topic is very subjective. I'm gonna give some aspects as far as like what I think about it. Maybe give some statistics. We'll see what happens. Because I had a couple of videos in the past where I talked about relationships, and I don't think I made a video like this as far as like talking about men being the prize. But of course, a lot of us are taught at an early age that women are the prize, and I'm not disputing that at all. But I'm gonna give some, I guess, some insights for like why there's this concept going on right now where a lot of folks will say that men are the prize. I don't know, it's crazy, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, so in 2025, this is as I'm recording this video, this is the year that I'm recording this video. Red pill and a couple of the concepts when it comes to dating has been really big over the last couple of years, and I really think it stems from women's liberation, as far as like women being able to do a lot of things that men can do, women being in the same space as men are, and I have no problem with it. I really don't. I am a very traditional type guy, I will say that, but a lot of times when it comes to society, you have to kind of roll with the times a little bit. You can't be a relic. You cannot be somebody that really, you know, holds on to traditional values to a certain degree and then let the whole world pass you by. So even though I'm a very traditional man and my wife knows this, at the same time I have to recognize a lot of new things that are coming on when it comes to society, especially me having a 7-year-old daughter, because, you know, I'm definitely going to instill some things in her as far as traditional things, but at the same time I cannot have her being ignorant when it comes to how dating and how relationships are currently, and how they possibly will be when she becomes a grown woman and starts to date. So I think this concept really derives from the scarcity of good men. And what I mean by good men, of course, that's very subjective as well, but when I mean by good men, I mean like, and this is just a small definition of it, men that are able to provide a lot of value to a woman when it comes to financial, spiritual, mental, being able to basically provide for this woman on every single front. And I think a lot of women these days don't feel like men can do that. At least a lot of men can do that. So when it comes to women being able to, like, you know, do a lot of things that men can do, and they're able to make as much money as men can, they're able to buy their own house, you know, be able to buy their own jewelry and all those other things, and they have a lot of education. It's like, you know, the women put themselves in a tier when it comes to, okay, I'm at this level right now, so I need a man that's going to be up here. And honestly, when you climb that far, the selection of men becomes very scarce. It really does, because a lot of times those men are already married, or they already had kids, or they've been divorced multiple times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, there's so many different things that happen to men when they try to climb the ladder to be successful, right? And, you know, a lot of times women may not want to deal with those things, but I don't know. I mean, like I said, I mean, the higher you get, like the scarcity that the men become. That's how corporate America is. It's how the military is. You know, I did 20 years in the military, and, you know, one of the things that I was told at a very early age in my career was, it's lonely at the top. And it's true. You know, the more rank that I achieved in the military, the smaller my peer group became, right? So when it comes to women making, you know, $100,000 a year, 200,000, 300,000, right? I'm not saying that the level of men is not there. I'm just saying, like, you know, when these women try to date men they're making more money than them and have more status, it's a small pool, right? So I think it's one of the aspects when it comes to you know, a lot of folks in society saying that men are the prize, because it's like, you know, I'm the scarce one here. I'm the one that's there's not a lot. There's not an abundance of me, right? So if there's not abundance of me, then how can I not be the prize? Versus there are an abundance of women, right? Would it be a woman that making a lot of money, or a woman that is not making a lot of money, right? And from a statistical standpoint, there's a lot more women in the world than men are, right? There's a guy that I watched on YouTube that had just went to Colombia recently, and he said that I'm trying to think. I think he said the ratio to men was like, I'm sorry, men to women was like 5 to 1. I think. I hope I'm not getting that confused, but basically what he was saying was that like there was so little, there was a very small population of men in that country, to where, like, you know, women literally fought over men, like physical fight, like fighting over men, right? So in that concept, maybe men are the prize, because, you know, it's a very scarcity mindset when it comes to men in that country. And then of course, if you're a foreigner going over there, that gives you even more leverage, because now I'm a foreigner coming over there that probably make more money than the average man in that country. So now I'm really the prize over there. I know, talking for myself, I don't consider myself a prize. I consider my wife the prize, because, you know, at the end of the day, even though I've had more of a financial foothold in the relationship that she has, which, being a traditional man, I believe that should be the case. I should be the one providing all the finances for my wife and family, right? Not vice versa. But, you know, besides all that, you know, she has been so much of a helpmeet to me, that I'm not saying I would not be successful without her, but she has been a contributing factor in my success. She has. I'm not even gonna front about that. Like, I cannot tell you guys how much of a value my wife has been to me. It's crazy. I mean, and she provided value to me even before we got married, right? She already showed what kind of value she was gonna bring to me. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, like, it made logical sense for me to marry my wife, and of course I loved her anyway, you know. So I mean, it just made sense. But in my personal opinion, my wife is the prize. I cherish her, but, you know, but also I know I bring utility to the relationship as well, because my wife is able to not have to work, right? Because I bring a lot of financial utility to the relationship, and I provide a spiritual component and a mental component, right? So I'm able to allow my wife to rest in her femininity. And a lot of men in America, unfortunately, are not in a position to do that for women. So when women find men that are able to do that, it's like, my goodness, like, you like a jewel. So like, I need to hold on to you, because if I let you go, there's not a guarantee I'm gonna be able to find another man like you. Versus, you know, from the reverse side of things, a man could find a jewel, right? But then the woman may not be what he believes that she should be. And let's say the woman decides, I'm just sick and tired of the relationship, and she breaks up with him. You know, is it easier for the guy to find another woman that's able to provide the utility? I believe so. Honestly, that's just my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? There's more than an abundance of women in the world, and, you know, women will literally change for a man. They will. You know what I'm saying? Because especially if it comes to the point where, like, you know, they know that this guy's bringing so much utility to the relationship and to their lives. Is like, you know what, this guy is one of a kind. And, you know, if I need to change to meet his standards, then I will do that. But this is not a video to argue the concept of a man being the prize, because, like I said, I don't consider myself a prize. But I do understand the concept, and I do understand why a lot of people in the world, in America, for lack of better words, will consider a guy the prize, because the scarcity mindset of men being able to provide financially fully, 100%, right? Being a spiritual man, being a God-fearing man, and then also being able to navigate a woman's feelings and a woman's emotions. Like, you know, a lot of guys don't want to do that in this day and age. I think a lot of Gen Zers don't want to do that because I guess they feel like women are not deserving of that. But, you know, to close the video out, if there's any Gen Zers is watching this video right now, don't believe the hype, man. don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you find a woman that you really like and you really are into, even though, you know, you may consider her a 3 or 4, right? Do you be chivalrous? You know, be nice to the woman, right? Provide utility to that woman. And I think a lot of women in this day and age, young women, don't see that a lot in young guys. they will see it in a lot of guys like me, my age, but I'm married. You know what I'm saying? I've been married for 20 years. I don't want none of y'all. I'm just not, respectfully, I don't want none of y'all. I want my wife, right? But I think that young men that are in that space, if they hold on to traditional values, right, and they don't let society change who they are as a man and navigate the space, even though women are acting a certain way, I think that women will start to change a little bit, right? Because that's something that's going to be different. Women, for the most part, want to be taken care of. You know, regardless of how much money a woman makes, it doesn't matter how much stability a woman has. She wants a guy that takes care of her. That's just bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And I think that when women find these type of men, they really look at it like, this guy might be the prize, right? But in my personal opinion, my wife is the prize. But drop some comments in the comment section below. Let me know what y'all think about this concept. It's a weird concept, it really is, because I never thought that we'd be in a position in this day and age where men are calling themselves the prize. Sounds kind of weird to me. Anyways, I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. If you want me to discuss a topic or subject, then it benefits your channel, email me at asog757@gmail.com. My email address is in the description below. Say So G, signing out. I'm gone.